your inner rock star out now? Ooh. Hi everyone, my name's James Ivey.
I'm Paul Drew.
From the Studio Rats.
Ah, yes.
Now, a little while ago, you may remember, or you may not, who knows, I was very fortunate to find what I still consider my dream amp of my teenage years.
We definitely have different dream amps of teenage years because I think you were quite into the British sound,
Yep.
and I was into the American sound. So my dream amp would have been different to this.
A boogie or something
It would have been a boogie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As we all were as teenagers, the weekend warrior in me would go into the local music shop and dream of the amp that I now have down here. This is a Marshall JCM 900. Now, there were two variations of this amp. There was the high gain master reverb. Sorry, high gain
Dual reverb,
which is what this one is, and then there was the high gain master volume.
Right.
Now, by far the most popular was the dual reverb because you could have two different reverb settings for the clean and the dirty channels. But the other cool thing about it was that the clean channel, you could actually drive the clean channel well and truly into filth, which was great.
Yeah.
And I played this amp probably every Saturday for about 2 years and went, I want one. But at the time, they were serious dough.
Yeah, they were serious though, but I've said this before, but don't you think that in every single rehearsal studio, there was, in England this is,
Yep.
there was JCM 800s
Yep.
or 900s because they were so plentiful.
Yeah. And the 800, it was always the single channel,
Yeah.
the cheaper one, as opposed to the one that I had, which later on in years was the dual channel, which was
Right.
amazing. But this I picked up for about, I think it was 275 quid.
That is
This is the 50 watt 2x12. So I've replaced the GT75s speakers in it because I think they're horrible. Even though I'm from the home of Celestion, Ipswich in Suffolk, I think GT75s, which are what Marshall generically put in all their combos,
I like them.
sound god-awful.
I like them.
You're entitled to your opinion, wrong as it may be. I put greenbacks, I put vintage 30s in this, and it sounds awesome. However, for reasons of load boxing and recording, all that sort of stuff, you're actually hearing it through the...
Two next torpedo.
Yes.
Because we can't drive it, we're not going to be able to drive it enough to get the right sort of sound out of it.
Yeah, and even at 50 watts, it's obliteratingly loud.
So loud.
So we've tried it with a couple of guitars, and by far, the Les
this, didn't
Paul, it's almost like the amp was designed to go with that guitar.
I think you're right.
Like
So
that.
it sounds like this clean. It's really, really nice.
Not super clean. You can get clean out of this Marshall, which is, previous to the 900s, you could not get a really clean sound out of a Marshall. They're not built to do that. They're built to sound gritty and clean
Right.
on the verge of breakup. Ting.
I think that's pretty. For me, that's pretty clean. And that's without any pedals, so that's. Go on. Put the filter. So this is how I've set it up with that sort of light drive, sort of rhythm drive. Sounds great though. The reason I've set it up like this is because when you start to push the gain on the on channel B, it tends to lose
Clarity.
articulation.
Yeah,
clarity,
clarity.
articulation. So
Let's give it some
crank up the gain.
We're about 10 o'clock at the moment.
Okay.
I'm going to go to 3 o'clock.
See, it gets that sort of flubby. And it's great for like a lead tone. Or that sort of sound. But if you want to play some rhythm stuff on it, it just tends to get a bit flubby. Now, if you bring the gain back to how it was,
Yeah. About there.
tightens up nicely, and then you can use pedals, so like a clon in front of it. That is a glorious tone. I love that tone.
I will say this, it is an absolute beast to carry.
Right.
It is. I mean, you've got two full-on handles on the side, proper speaker handles on the side. The Marshall kind of rubber grip thing on top is practically useless because you can barely. It cuts through your hand at 8 knots. But it is an amazing amplifier for £275. Now, we obviously did the review of the Bugera a little while ago, which was a £300 amp.
It's a £300 head.
Yeah, head. Whereas for less money, okay, we were looking on eBay earlier, and they're going for about £450. You can pick them up for about £300 if you're lucky. You said there was one locally, didn't you?
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. Why buy a new one when you can have genuine, the last, what people say is the last of the proper Marshalls?
Yeah, that's a proper English built Marshall. I think that's the point. So we tried out that Bugera, which is a £300 amp. Now, personally, I would much rather buy one of these, and I'm sure an amp tech would much rather you buy one of these as well, because I'm sure this is so much easier to fix than something like the Bugera. And if anything goes wrong with it, which it's a Marshall, it's a JCM 900. They don't go wrong.
One of the most popular amps in history.
They don't go wrong, and it's just sounds. Put the clean channel on for us.
Yep.
I mean, through a Les Paul.
But I can wind the clean channel up to get this.
Do you know, I almost prefer that channel cranked than the dirty channel. So if I put a clon in front of it. Love it.
That sounds awesome.
Love that. I mean, I think your pots need a bit of cleaning.
Yeah, bear in mind, it has been in storage for a best part of 18 months.
Could have been storage around my house. Do you know what I mean?
It could have been, and it probably will be for a bit if you fancy it. It's a great thing. You can find them on eBay. I don't think Marshall don't make them anymore, sadly, because DSLs and TSLs have taken over from that space. But I can't see it being too long before they bring out a 20-watt mini 900.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's definitely a classic Marshall.
So, what's happened? We stopped the video, and then we were unplugging everything. When you could take over.
And I might have been a bit of a silly boy. On the back of the JCM 900, there's a little switch called low and high. We were in low power mode, so this 50-watt beast was being driven at 25 watts.
But it sounded great. But the difference when you start to, drive the amplifier at the proper wattage it was designed.
Pentode, triode, not pentode, or whatever way around it is, I can never remember.
Whatever it is.
It's a different beast.
Oh my gosh.
Join us in the next JCM 900 instalment where we're going to try some different guitars. We'll have a play with the gain staging, and you'll hear what this thing really sounds like. So, hope you enjoyed that. If you got something out of it, please do like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the stuff we asked you to do. But for now, my name's James Ivey.
I'm Paul Drew.
And we will see you again very soon.